It all started when my in-laws told us they had a surprise for us. Said they booked a weekend at a spa. Just a gift, something to help us relax. Told us not to argue, just go enjoy ourselves. Seemed kind enough. But when we got back home, they had turned our second bedroom, our personal space, into their home office. What I did after that? Well, let us just say, it shut them right up. My wife and I live in Chicago. We are both in our 30s, married 5 years, no kids yet. Just us in a little 2-bedroom apartment we have put a lot of love and money into. I work from home as a user experience designer. My wife, Jamie, is a physical therapist. She drives about half an hour to the clinic. Life is busy, but it is good. We have made this place truly ours. That second bedroom was not just a spare room. It was our quiet corner. I used it for work and reading. Jamie liked to unwind there with her music. We had books, plants, a comfy couch, my desk, and a shelf full of candles and souvenirs from our travels. It was our calm space. Jamie's parents, Leonard and Marlene, live up in Milwaukee. They visit every couple of months, sometimes more. They are a bit much, always offering advice we did not ask for, how to decorate, what to cook, how to spend our money. 3 weeks ago, they came over for dinner. Nothing unusual, baked ziti, their usual cheap red wine. But then, over dessert, Marlene said, "You two have been working so hard. We thought you could use a break." Then she dropped it. They booked us a full weekend at Tranquil Water Spa in Lake Geneva. All paid for. Leonard jumped in, saying it was set from Friday to Sunday and not to argue. "You need this," Marlene added. "We'll stay here, take care of things while you're away." I got a weird feeling. They had stayed in our place before, but this felt too smooth, like they had rehearsed it. Still, we were worn out. A weekend away sounded perfect. They kept pushing, and we gave in. The spa weekend? Honestly, it was great. Massages, wine by the lake, long naps. For 2 days, we finally felt relaxed. Then we came home. The second I stepped through the door, I knew something was off. The coat rack was moved. Our mail, usually tossed in a basket by the door, was stacked neatly on the kitchen counter. At first, it seemed harmless. Strange, yeah, but maybe just a little off. Then we walked down the hall and saw it. Our second bedroom, our space, was gone. And I do not mean just rearranged. I mean completely wiped out. The calm sage green walls, painted over in a dull, ugly gray. My desk, gone. The shelves of books, gone. The plants, the couch, the little personal things we had collected over the years, all gone. In their place was a big, heavy office desk sitting right in the center of the room. 2 tall, black filing cabinets stood in the corner. There was a printer, a corkboard full of pinned notes, framed diplomas, and all kinds of office supplies scattered neatly around. I just whispered, "What the hell?" I was not even mad yet. I was just stunned. Could not process it. Then Leonard stepped into the hallway, grinning like it was a prank. "Surprise," he said. Marlene followed behind him. We turned the spare room into an office for when we visit. Leonard needs a proper workspace, and now he will not have to use the dining table. I was still speechless. Jamie walked into the room, slow like he was not sure if he was really seeing what he thought he was seeing. "Where's all our stuff?" he asked. "Oh, don't worry," Leonard said, like this was all totally normal. "We packed it all up and put it in your basement storage unit. Everything's labeled." I just stood there, frozen. My chest felt tight. My ears were ringing. They never asked us, never told us, never even hinted that this was something they were planning. They just did it. Took our things. Took our space. Jamie finally snapped. "You can't just do this," he said. "This wasn't your decision to make." Leonard actually looked irritated. "You weren't using it for anything important," he said. "It was basically storage. This is a better use of the room." And that was it. That one sentence, "You weren't using it for anything important." Something in my head flipped. I walked out, went into the kitchen, sat down, and tried to breathe. I needed a second. Still, they never apologized. Not once. And yeah, we still had to feed them dinner after all that. And during the meal, Marlene had the nerve to smile and say she was excited for us to see how efficient the new setup was. Efficient. That night, I just laid there, staring at the ceiling while Jamie tried to talk me down. I was not just angry. I felt violated. Like they had taken something private and treated it like it did not matter. I did not sleep at all. Next morning, while we were sitting through burnt toast and awkward small talk, I told them straight. We would be redoing the room once they left. Marlene went quiet. Leonard just mumbled something about how they were only trying to help. That all happened 2 weeks ago. Ever since, I've been making a plan, because they're coming back in 3 days. And this time, I've got a little surprise of my own. Right after they left, I headed down to the basement to check the storage unit. Sure enough, our things were there, crammed into old moving boxes, barely labeled with scribbled masking tape, miscellaneous decor, books, extra. My desk had scratches. One of the shelves was cracked. The glass globe I bought on our honeymoon? Shattered. That is when it really hit me. This was not just about helping us. This was about control. Jamie's parents have always wanted more access to us, more say in our lives, more space in our home. And now they had taken it without a second thought. But they did not see this next part coming. I work from home. I have time. I have patience. And when someone pulls a stunt like this, I have a good bit of pettiness in me too. So for the next 2 days, I focused on one thing. Undoing everything. Step 1. I hired a junk removal crew. Told them I had some bulky office furniture that had to go fast. When the guy saw that desk, he actually let out a whistle. This thing's a beast. Not my problem, I said. Get rid of it. I did not donate it. I did not sell it. I paid extra to have it destroyed. Then I brought our things back in. Fixed what I could. Scrubbed every inch of that room clean. I painted the walls back to that soft sage green, my color. Put the bookshelf in place. Set up my desk, the candles, the couch, restored the room exactly as it was. Except this time, I added a lock to the door. And then came the fun part. I told Jamie I wanted to handle things my way. He was not too sure about it, but after what his parents did, he agreed to let me take the lead. So when Leonard and Marlene texted to say they would be swinging by again for a longer visit, I replied, great. Looking forward to it. What they did not know was, I had already made other plans. I called a locksmith and had both the front door lock and the guest room lock changed. Then I booked a last-minute weekend getaway. But this time, just for Jamie. You're sending me away? He asked. Yep, I said. Go play golf. Get a massage. Eat something fancy. Just trust me. He left Friday morning. That afternoon, Leonard and Marlene showed up. I greeted them at the door with a smile. Where's Jamie? Marlene asked, walking right in without waiting for an answer. Oh, he's out of town this weekend, I said. Just me. I saw something shift in her eyes. Then Leonard put down his bag and said, we'll just get settled in the office. Oh, it's not an office anymore, I said. Marlene blinked. What? I opened the guest room door just enough so they could see the green walls, the bookshelves, my desk, all back in place. You changed it back? Leonard asked, his tone sharp. Of course I did, I said, calm as ever. You had no right to change it in the first place. We were doing you a favor, he snapped. And I'm returning one, I said. We do not have a guest room anymore. It is not available. Marlene looked like she had just seen a ghost. But where are we supposed to sleep? I handed her a card. Hotel's about 10 minutes away. I booked you a room for 2 nights. You'll love it. Indoor pool and everything. You ever see someone trying to hold back rage and confusion at the same time? That was Leonard. Marlene's jaw was so tight I thought she might crack a molar. They left without another word. That night, I sat in our room with a glass of wine and zero regrets. But I should have known it wasn't over. Sunday morning, I got a call from our building manager. Hey, just a heads up. A couple showed up this morning asking about your apartment. Said they were doing a surprise inspection for their son. I froze. What? They said they were your in-laws. We don't allow unannounced visits, but they were persistent. We had to call security. I thanked him and hung up. When Jamie got home that afternoon, I told him everything. We both agreed it was time to draw a hard line. Set clear boundaries. But before we even got the chance to talk it through, they showed up again. At my office building. Yeah, they came to my workplace. I work out of a shared office downtown, even though I'm remote. It helps me focus sometimes. It is not open to the public. You need a keycard or someone to buzz you in. That Monday, I got a message from the front desk. There's a couple here asking for you. Says they're your family. I knew. I took the elevator down, heart racing. And there they were, Leonard and Marlene, standing like they owned the place. Marlene had that fake polite face she wears when she's about to say something totally unhinged. Leonard did not wait. We need to talk, he said. You've made a huge mistake. I'm working, I said flatly. You cannot just show up here. We had to, Marlene said, jumping in. You embarrassed us. Sent us to a hotel like we were complete strangers. I just looked at her. You took over my house, I said. My space. Without asking. That is not just rude. It is insane. And then Leonard, without a trace of irony, goes, "We're family. We do not need permission." That was it. I saw red. "I need you to leave," I said. "Now. This is my workplace." Leonard stepped forward, low voice. "Jamie is my son, and I'm going to make sure he knows what kind of woman you're turning into." That was the end of it. I turned and walked straight to security. Within minutes, they were being escorted out. Marlene was yelling something about fixing this, while Leonard glared at me like I was the problem. I did not go back upstairs. I headed straight back home and picked up the phone to call Jamie at his job. I laid it all out for him, everything that had happened. There was silence on the other end for a while. Then he finally said, "All right. This means war." That same evening, we sat down together and wrote out a long message. We both worked on it. When it was done, we sent it to both of them. The message was clear, firm, and final. "From this point forward, you are not allowed in our home unless you are invited. You no longer have a key. You no longer have access. If you try to push your way into our lives or apartment, we will treat it as harassment. We care about you, but this kind of behavior is manipulative and unhealthy. We are adults now. You do not have control over our time, our home, or our relationship. Do not reach out to us unless you are truly ready to respect our boundaries." That was it. We had sinned. Then we blocked them everywhere, emails, phone numbers, even Facebook. It was a clean break. And honestly, it felt good. For a few days, anyway. Until the letter showed up. It was handwritten, no return address, and someone had slid it under our door. But it was not from Leonard or Marlene. It came from Jamie's younger sister, Tessa. Just so you know, Tessa lives out in St. Paul. She's the quiet one. Never really mixed up in the family drama. We usually see her maybe once a year, if that. So her letter was a surprise. She wrote, "I know things have gotten strange, but I think you need to understand something. Mom and Dad have been planning this for a while. I stayed out of it as long as I could, but they kept talking about moving closer to you both. Dad mentioned needing a place to stay permanently. I thought he was talking about work, maybe a job move. But now I see he meant your apartment. They kept saying, 'Soon we will not have to drive home anymore.' I did not understand what that meant until now. I read it over 3 times. Jamie's hands were shaking. They were not just setting up some kind of home office. They were actually trying to move in. For good. Suddenly, all of it clicked. The spa weekend they offered us. The strange sense of urgency. The way they acted like they were doing us some big favor. They were slowly trying to take over our home, one small step at a time. Like we would not even notice if they slipped in bit by bit. We were not just freaked out, we felt completely violated. It was like they had been working on this plan for months, maybe longer. Jamie called Tessa right away. She backed it all up. She told us Marlene had even looked into renting a storage unit close to us. And Leonard? He had asked about forwarding some of his business mail to our address. These people were not just testing the waters. They had a whole plan. They were serious. So now we were not just dealing with overbearing parents. We were up against folks trying to quietly take over our lives. We reported everything to the building management. Got our locks checked again. Put up a security camera. Changed our passwords. Took every step we could think of to protect ourselves. Locked everything down tight. And then came the twist we never saw coming. Jamie got a call from his uncle, Leonard's brother. "I talked to your dad," he said. "He says you've lost your mind. Says your wife is turning you against the family." This guy had not spoken to us in years. Now suddenly, he was in the middle of it. And he was not the only one. Jamie's aunt texted next. Then a cousin chimed in. All of them were pushing the same message. You are overreacting. They just want to be close. It is not a big deal. That is when we realized Leonard and Marlene had kicked off a full-blown campaign to make us look like the bad guys. But we also knew something else. They were not going to let this go. We were done trying to be nice. No more chances. We were done trying to be the bigger people. No more playing nice. They had pushed the line way too far, and now they had the whole family turning on us with their lies and made-up stories. Jamie was heartbroken, but I was beyond angry. We had been on the defensive for too long. It was time to go on the offense. So, we started digging. Jamie remembered something strange from one of their visits. Leonard had asked to use our Wi-Fi. He had typed something into the Notes app on his phone, and that stuck with Jamie. I am not some tech genius, but I know how to look through a router's history. I went back into our old network logs and found something that made my stomach drop. Leonard had used our internet connection to check his work email. Not just personal stuff, emails from his private consulting company. The same business we thought he had retired from. But clearly, he was still active. I kept digging. Found browsing records, downloaded files, names, contracts, even documents with tax information. He had not just been working out of our place without asking. He was operating an entire business under our roof, without our knowledge. And it got worse. Much worse. He had actually used our apartment as a secondary address on public business forms. I found them with a simple search on the state government website. That was when it all clicked. This had never been about a casual visit or setting up a temporary workspace. He had already started moving his business into our lives. If we had not caught it in time, he could have tied us up legally in whatever shady stuff he was doing. Our apartment address, our names, our legal liability. I felt sick to my stomach. We reached out to a lawyer. The advice was simple: take action. So we did. We filed a complaint with the Illinois Department of Revenue. Then we submitted a report about the false business filings. We included everything: documents, screenshots, even timestamps. It was stressful. It was slow. But it worked. About 3 weeks later, Leonard got hit with a cease and desist letter and a formal financial audit. We did not say a word to them. We did not give them a heads up. We let the letter do the talking. When they came to the building, security would not let them in. We caught them on the cameras yelling in the lobby. That was it for us. Our lawyer sent one last message on our behalf: any future attempt to contact us will be considered harassment. You are legally prohibited from using our address in any way. Do not call, do not visit, do not reach out, unless it is through legal counsel. It was firm. It was cold. But it was what had to be done. And honestly, it should have ended there. But I made a mistake. A big one. I shared our story online. I needed people to understand. I needed to feel like we had not gone through all this alone. I left out names. I did not post anything that broke the law. I just told the story. And it took off. People got behind us. Told us we were right. Said we did the smart thing. But someone saw it. Tessa. She was the only family member we had not cut off. The only one who had been honest with us. She messaged me long, emotional. She said, "You told me my privacy mattered. You said you were grateful I opened up. And then you put it all online for strangers to judge." She was right. I had thanked her for being the only one with the courage to tell us the truth. She had stuck her neck out. And I betrayed that. I never used her name, but I gave just enough detail that anyone in the family who saw the post would know it came from her. After that, she went completely silent. Blocked us. And that hit harder than I thought it would. That was the moment I realized something. Getting revenge might feel satisfying in the moment. But there is always a price. Sometimes, you do not see how high that cost is until it is too late. In the end, Leonard and Marlene got exactly what they had coming. Their scheme backfired in the worst way. Leonard's business? Under investigation. Their standing in the family? Barely hanging on. They're officially banned from our building. No key, no address, no access. But we took a hit too. Jamie barely speaks to anyone in his family now, maybe one cousin. And I lost Tessa. Probably for good. Along with a big chunk of my peace of mind. When you give people kindness and they twist it into a way to control you, it changes something in you. Our place is safe again. Our home belongs to us. But it came at a cost. Would I do the same thing again? Maybe. But I would do it differently. Quietly. Cleaner. With fewer people caught in the crossfire.